and today we're gonna be doing a different type of video. This is gonna be Marvel's best rivalries, right? I was about to say Marvel Rivals there. Great game. Y'all should all go check it out. And Marvel, if you want to sponsor me for some of the, I can play the game, make a little video on that. Feel free to reach out. I will not disagree with that. But anywho, so let's get into this tier list, right? So we're gonna first define what the criteria is gonna be for this tier list, right? First thing we gotta have. This is my personal tier list, so I'm gonna do it based off my opinions, and I'm gonna do this with the most potential, the most interesting, and just the petty factor in this, right? Like the viciousness of just like you could tell, like it's just they don't like each other, bro. Like, there's not respect, but bro, why did he do him like that? That's what I'm putting on this. And then how we're gonna do the letters is gonna be S. It's very good, very interesting, right? I would love to see this rivalry more in the MCU. Love to see these characters have some interactions in Marvel Rivals. I just love these rivalries. Very interesting to me. And then we have an interesting, good idea. Maybe it hasn't lived it to its full potential, but there's potential there. It's good, And then B is, this is good for some people. It's good overall. I just don't really like it that much, but other people would probably love it more. And then C is, it's okay. Like it's there. It exists, right? So that's one of them. And then D is snooze fest. Please do not drop any more info on this, man. We do not care about this. But anywho, so we'll get into it. And so I'm using the name of their movies for each of these, right? So the first one that I'm gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing Avengers Infinity War, and this is gonna represent like Thanos, basically, right? So for Thanos' rivalry, that was legendary, bro. Like they have been building that up for so long. Like Thanos' rivalry with the Avengers, that was just amazing. Like when they add Thanos to Marvel Rivals, that's gonna be great. People are waiting for stuff like that. But like they built that up for so long, and when they would show you glimpses of Thanos, people would lose their minds. The chokehold that Marvel had on the world needs to be studied. I don't know if anybody will be able to recreate that, because they had a grip where people never read a comic book in their life. These people will never read a comic book in their life. Loved this. That's impressive. You got to give them their props for that. So I would put that as a very high tier. And even then, so I will talk a little bit about the comics, but I don't want to get too in depth about it because the versions of these characters are so different in the comics versus the MCU that it's just a whole nother can of worms. So I'm probably going to be doing the MCU versions of them. That's the one that most people are going to know anyways. I might sprinkle a little bit of that in there. Like, for example, when I get to like Cyclops and Wolverine, I think their comic one is better because sometimes how they do my boy Cyclops is just they make him look terrible, bro. But anywho, so yeah, it's easy S tier. Thanos and the Avengers, their rivalry, needs to be studied. Amazing. Also, his rivalry versus like Gamora, that was just like, bro, basically creating an assassin daughter that killed her for the power, not for the power, what's it called, for that stone. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, that's what I'll leave that one for now. All right, now we have Ultron versus Vision, or Vishan. If y'all remember those memes where Vishan had the low cut tape with the waves, the chain. That was a time, bro. The Vishan one. I think that's when that Scarlet Witch show came out, and they were talking about him a lot more. But see, I love Ultron's character. He's one of my favorite characters. I can't wait till Adam Marvel Rivals. But see, Ultron rivalries in general are really cool. Like his with Tony, even like Hank Pym. Like his are just really cool. So I'm gonna put him at A tier. No. I put him on the level of S tier. I think how they handled him, he could have been like a Thanos level threat, because Ultron really is that level of a threat, right? Like, but I feel like how they handled him wasn't that great. So he definitely has the potential, because I feel like he was a very cool villain. Like all the things he said, bro was a quote machine. Like, you want humanity to evolve, but you don't want it to change. I was like, what is this boy cooking, man? And then there ain't no strings on me. Like, iconic. It's just how he was handled. But See, because to me, this is one of my favorite ones. It's not my top one, so I think I'm gonna put this in A tier because Thanos was just a whole nother level. This is also ones that had like a grip, just had a chokehold on the world. So yeah, I think A tier. If they do more with him, then I think that he would be really good. But this is mostly from MCU perspective because of the comics. I would say that they do him justice a good portion of the time. All right, so going to the next one, we have Black Widow. B tier. Black Widow versus her. B for Black Widow. Black tier. Black Widow versus herself, really. Because herself also includes like the other Black Widows and like fighting them and stuff like that. Because like, I mean, it's interesting. Like I said, this is some people probably really liked that stuff about Black Widow. I don't know how many people like the Black Widow movie. I didn't really see it, but I think Black Widow's an interesting character. I also think her rivalry with like, what's his name, Hawkeye, it was an interesting rivalry because it felt like there was some tension there, if you know what I mean, where it was like these two, what they be doing behind the scenes, bro. Like, is Bruce okay with this, you know? But hey, it's like you know what they used to do before, you know, when those cameras cut off. But I would give that one B tier. Black Widow is a very interesting character. I think her Red Room pass and all that is very cool. And I've heard that she's like over 100 years old now or something like that she has some type of superpowers or something these days. So yeah, that's cool, I guess, if you're into that. And then we have Blade. I think Blade is a cool character. I mean, he's really what got Marvel to where it is too. And also that logo is super cool. Like, whoever cooked that's a very cool logo. But yeah, I think Blade just it's bordering on A. I would put it above Black Widow. It's bordering on A, but it's not Ultron level. I think Blade has a lot of potential. You know, the Daywalker, very cool guy, and his rivalry with like Dracula is like really cool, I would say, and I think that's something that has very huge potential. But that movie is never coming out. Like, do not hold your breath for that movie, bro. But I think that because the thing is, like, vampires in media is also a lot of the time, I feel like it's either hit or miss, you know, or no, not really. I feel like most of the time it's just yeah, honestly, most of the time, like, when people see vampires, it's like I don't really like. Morbius was an attempt at the vampire. They had Matt Smith in that movie, which is crazy. I was like, I didn't even realize that. I saw the clips because I did not watch Morbius. You know, it's Morbin time. I ain't watching that now. But yeah, I would say Blade. I don't want to put it on Ultron level. See, Blade is really good for some people, I would say. Not for me, but it has the potential. You know, I'm gonna put it in low A. But I can't put it in Black Widow tier because Blade is very, like, the Blade is very important. But like in terms of like rivalries and stuff like that, I think there's a very good potential. It's an interesting, good idea. And then next, we're gonna be talking about Bucky Barnes and Captain America. That's easily A tier. Easily A tier, bro. Like, that Winter Soldier is a lot of times people's favorite Marvel movie because it's like not your typical Marvel movie, right? It's cool, it's good, but it's like a spy thriller. And Bucky is, I think, a fan favorite character in Marvel Rivals and the MCU in like general, because he's just cool. Like, the robotic arm is dope, and just the story of Captain America and his friend, like that mission where they lost him, and the whole time he thinks he's dead, and he finds out that bro has been like cooked, whatever. Like, the whole time is just wild. Or he's literally been like brainwashed for like his opposing army. And then just to talk a little bit more, just about like Captain America's like rivalries in like general, because I'm gonna make this one mostly about like Captain America versus the Red Skull. I feel like that's also very cool, like rivalry as well too. Like, a lot of people, you know, I don't know if anybody's ever been like Red Skull is my favorite villain, but I think it's like, you know, Captain America versus Nazis, like, no brainer. So it's good. I think it's a good idea. You know, I think Captain America's a cool guy overall. You know, can't really hate. And then his beef with like what's his name, Iron Man. with Bucky, that was crazy scene, bro. Like they were two-piecing the life out of that man. That was such a good scene. Like that was amazing. So that's why I give him the A tier. Just the rivalry in general is like really cool, especially from the MCU perspective. Like I think people just love seeing that. So then we got Daredevil. So Daredevil versus Kingpin, right? That's the primary one I'm gonna be talking about because I know they had the Daredevil show and stuff like that. So I'll put this in B tier. I think it's good. I've never been the biggest Daredevil fan, but I think maybe there needs to be more media around him. But I think it's cool, you know, the blind guy with like these powers and stuff like that. You know, lawyer trying to clean up the city two different ways. I think it's a cool premise, you know, all that stuff. But it's just not really for me, I would say. Like, I think the martial art character is there's cooler ones to me, right? Which I'll be talking about that later. But that's my personal opinion. That's what I would say on that one. And then he also had like that beef with Kingpin, and like bro went, and when he found out his identity, bro went and like ruined that man's life. Like he could have just would have killed him. He said, "I would make that boy suffer." Bro went and he went and did stuff where it was like you went, oh my god, bro, it's so funny. Destroyed bro's apartment, made him lose his like certifications to be a lawyer, and just made bro's life terrible. Just petty. Like just petty, bro. Like just kill him. What are you doing? And then this one's a lot more straightforward. This is like the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. I ain't gonna lie, I've never cared for the Fantastic Four. I've never cared for it, bro. I'm sorry. Doctor Doom is a great character. This was a character list. Doctor Doom would be S tier. But I don't really care about Reed Richards. I just don't. The other Fantastic Four characters, I don't even know their names. That's just me personally. I don't really care for it. I think all the media TV wise has been garbage. I'm sorry, not garbage. It's just it belongs in the tier. It's almost, I ain't gonna lie, it might even be the snooze fest tier because Doctor Doom, give Doctor Doom his own movie without the Fantastic Four. Give us a Doctor Doom origin story. That is good. Doctor Doom alone is a great character. But Fantastic Four has just always been boring to me. Snooze fest here. Keep that in there. My bad, y'all. Iron Man. So this is Iron Man versus himself. Iron Man versus Captain America. Iron Man versus Ultron. All of those. I thought that's pretty good. But I've never been the biggest Iron Man fan. Like, Iron Man's a cool guy. But like, I think the most interesting one is Iron Man like versus himself. Because like he creates a lot of these things. You know, quote Ultron again. Men of peace create weapons of war, and people create the biggest thing they fear, right? Ultron, every line that man had was straight bangers, bro. But here, let me think about this. So Iron Man, yeah, I'll keep it in the B tier. I think he's got some really good rivalries. He's just never really been that interesting to me. Like they portrayed it well, his character, even the actor who played him, right? I feel like he has some similarities too. Like I feel like sometimes it was rigid. He was playing himself. It's kind of crazy. Cause he was very good at playing that actor. I know they just said they're bringing him back to play Doctor Doom. I think that's an awful idea. I think they should just. I think Doctor Doom is good, but get somebody new, bro. But anywho, that's just my opinion on that. So Iron Man's a B tier. That's what I would say. And then so next we're gonna be talking about the X-Men rivalry primarily. I think the two people who make the X-Men is Professor X and Magneto. That's gonna go A tier, without a doubt. I'm not gonna put it above Ultron. See, I would put it in S tier. But I'm gonna leave it A tier for now. I'm gonna think about this. Because I would put it in S tier. Because Professor X and Magneto, if you took them out of X-Men, you're taking out a very large chunk of what makes the X-Men the X-Men. Because those differences in those ideologies, I think is the most interesting part of the X-Men. And they've had some crazy runs, like, in the comics. Like, Magneto and Professor X have the craziest stories. I remember this one time where Magneto just rips that boy's spine out, and it seems like he kills him. Crazy, man. Crazy. And then I know there's, like, a clip on YouTube where, like, Magneto was defeated by, like, a wooden gun or something like that. It's just hilarious. Like, I love these characters, man. They're so interesting. So I ain't gonna lie. And I love, like, I love the X-Men movies, even though they're not that good. Like X-Men First Class, the coin scene is so good. And then the one scene where like the woman is talking to him, and she's like, "Oh, what's it called? She's like, you're not gonna get a tattoo. We all have a tattoo." And then he shows like his Holocaust like barcode number. I was like, whoa, bro. Like you that's humbling right there. He said, "I've already been tattooed. No ink shall ever touch my skin again." I was like, sheesh. That's crazy, line. I love that. I love seeing that scene. So that's why I put X-Men there. I don't want to put it. Let me rearrange this actually, man. This is my personal opinion, so I can do whatever I want, bro. Put that right here. Put that right here. I might put this in S tier, depending on how I'm feeling later at this. Cause I just really do love their rivalry, and I think they make X-Men so entertaining and so interesting. So we'll go on to the next one. Black Panther S tier. Let me tell you, the hold that Black Panther versus Killmonger had on not just the black community but people in general was crazy. People would go around doing that everywhere. People of all races, like the hold that Black Panther had, that was their best marketing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think they will ever reach that height again, man. That was just amazing how they marketed that. And like Killmonger is my favorite Marvel character. Crazy, right? You probably don't hear that every day. I love Killmonger's character because bro really pulled up to his house. He came on his turf, beat the snot out of him in front of his family, and then threw that man off the ledge and took his empire. It wasn't even like Eddie cheated. He really just beat him, bro. Like that was amazing. I know there's like this fight channel. They review like fight animes and just like fights in general, like how realistic it is. I need to see them review that. Maybe they already have. I gotta go look for it. But I love this one. It's just so good. I don't know any other Black Panther's rivals or anything like that, but I know that one was great. That one was great to see. I loved it. So next we're gonna do Moon Knight versus Bushman. See, bottom of A tier, because I like Moon Knight. I like the show. I think he's a cool character. But from a media standpoint, he just had this TV show. I thought the TV show was good. I don't know how I felt about the actor, to be honest. I didn't really like the actor that much. I did feel like it was interesting. Moon Knight versus Bushman, I think it has some good potential because like Bushman is really like the catalyst for how he became who he became. But I don't know. I just don't think they really handled that very well, is what I would say. That's my own personal opinion. You guys, if you don't agree with that's fine. But that's what I would say about A tier. Bottom of A tier, maybe I would put it in B, but I really like Moon Knight's character. So, and then this is because like even if I go into the comics, this is a completely different thing. But I don't want to get too into this because this will be a very long video if we start going into the comics and everything like that. So Spider-Man's S tier. I'm not gonna lie. Spider-Man has some great villains. He has some very, very, very good villains. Spider-Man's rivalries are always really good. Spider-Man vs. Green Goblin, amazing. Like in those movies where he's telling him like the only thing they love to see a hero succeed is to see them fail. They will abandon you, all that jazz, amazing. And then just Green Goblin is a really good character too. So like it really supports Spider-Man's performances and Spider-Man in general when the other character is so good. That's another thing to keep in mind. So Spider-Man is an easy S tier. I don't think anybody's gonna disagree with this. Like he's got some of the best rivalries we can ever see. Dr. Octopus, bro. Even like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I include all versions of Spider-Man because you could go and do each version of Spider-Man. That's way too much work. But even Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like bro's rivalries are just cool. Like Miguel O'Hara, bro said that was so funny, man. Like, we were never supposed to be Spider-Man. I'm like, whoa. What do you mean by that, bro? Why you hating so hard, man? It was so funny, bro. I love Marvel's Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. That's my favorite piece of Marvel media is Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. I love that. It's so good. Alright, sorry. Just got into that one. But yeah, easy S tier. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that one. Let me not make this video too long. We have Thor versus Loki. I never really cared much for Thor as a character. So, B tier. I think Thor vs. Loki is interesting because a lot of times, like when you see it and then they have the Loki TV show, it really just feels like Loki just got cooked for no reason. Like Loki should have had a much better life, but he really just it really seems like he was just born to fail. And I feel like there's a lot of inspiration for like artists from Final Fantasy is from Loki, because it's like, you know, the brother took everything from him, and then he's just kind of left with he got the leftovers of life, you know. I don't know Thor got some other rivalries like Beta Ray Bill, but bro, that's not in the movies. Nobody talking about it in the movies. So I'll put Thor at a B tier. I never really liked Thor's character that much, so I'll just leave that there. And then we have Shang-Chi, or really this is the Mandarin. I like Shang-Chi a lot, and he has like, I wish they would make a movie like, if there's a Shang-Chi 2 coming out, I kind of hope it's him versus Iron Fist, because that would introduce Iron Fist to the movies as well too. And I think Shang-Chi, I'm gonna say this, I think Shang-Chi is more interesting than Iron Fist. I think Shang-Chi is a really cool character. His power is really cool. I really hope they add him into Marvel Rivals. So Shang-Chi, I would put that above Moon Knight and Blade, actually. I really like Shang-Chi's character. And this was a very good movie. I feel like Shang-Chi has a lot of potential in market image. This was one of their best movies they came out with, even though it was coming out during the time where they were not cooking. They're still not cooking. Like, I heard Craven was just garbage too. I haven't seen it, but it's tough out here for Marvel. Hopefully they pull that together, but I think it's kind of done. I think it's time to put the fries in the bag, not gonna lie. They just pack that up. But, so Shang-Chi, the Mandarin, Iron Fist, I think also the Mandarin could have some very interesting characters. Now that he's passed it on to his son, I think there's a lot of places that they could go. There's a lot of very cool villains that they could introduce from like the past of the Mandarin, because I feel like he's someone who's not fleshed out that heavily, and this is the opportunity for them to do that. So that's what I would say on that. And I just really love the whole 10 rings. I love the visuals that they had for that. Like, I think that's a very good direction that they could go in if they start working with that character more. That's my personal opinion. Next, we have the Hulk. So this is like Bruce Banner versus himself, really. I've never really been a big Hulk fan, so I'm gonna put that right there. Yeah, Hulk has never really been a character I really care about. I think he's got some interesting rivalries, but yeah, I'm be honest, I've never really been a big Hulk fan. Like, even like the Marvel movies, like Hulk and Thanos, like Thanos turns that into a pacifist. Like, he takes that man, he beats the life out of him. He beats the fight out of him. Bro goes to be a sideliner character. He said, "I'm that NPC you go to whenever you want like research done, or you want a blacksmith." He's the blacksmith character, the researcher, botanist character, botanist NPC. That's what he becomes. It's crazy. It's tough, man. It's tough what he did to him. Because in the comics, you have like World Breaker Hulk, right? You have the plotline where like his wife dies, and then bro is dealing with the anger. And then you have the plotline where he's like thrown 100 years, or not even 100 years, he's thrown to a whole other planet. He's got to bring his way back. Like, Hulk has some very interesting stories. But I think the most interesting one is Hulk versus Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner versus his anger, right? His pain, his suffering. I think that's something that's not talked about enough for his movies. And I think it's kind of something, I feel like it's something they don't want to approach, because if they go about the wrong way, people are going to hate the movie. But I think there's a way to go about that and talk about it where it's very interesting. So I think he has the potential to be a very interesting character. I've just never really cared much for the Hulk, not gonna lie. So we're gonna put Hulk in B tier. You know, some people would love more Hulk. I don't really. And also, in Marvel Rivals, why does Hulk spit? Like, why is that one of his moves? I feel like in Marvel Rivals, they could have made some improvements to the Hulk character, to be honest. Because why is he spitting? That just is odd to me. I feel like there should be more Hulk smash to him. But that's my personal opinion. Alright, so next we're going to be doing Cyclops versus Wolverine. Put this one bottom. Right there. Actually, I would say this, I would put that right here. Because Cyclops in like media, I feel is not given the respect that he deserves. In the comics, I feel like he's an infinitely much more interesting character. And I feel like he has a lot of potential to be like a headliner for like MCU. But I think Wolverine is doing the same thing he does in the comics, right? I remember there's like this, I think there's one scene or there's one comic where you're acting like Wolverine, and then Cyclops responds like, okay, when he does, everybody loves it. That sums it up completely, right? Wolverine is loved just because he's got that aura, he's got that him energy to him, right? Cyclops, he's got it too, but it's a different type, right? It's like a different type of energy that he has. It's still valid, but it's not the same. And then the one that Wolverine has is the one that tends to be more cooler, more popular, I would say. So that's why Wolverine a lot of times is like a more fan favorite character. Not say Wolverine is a bad character, but I feel like Cyclops needs some more love and to be shown what he can really do. Because he's a cool, like, bro can shoot energy out of his eyes. That's cool. There's a lot you could do with that. But yeah, we'll just leave that one in B tier because I think Cyclops is a really cool character. I'm just giving respect to the Cyclops lovers. I don't really care about him that much. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm just giving the respect to the people who love his character because I see them talk about that a lot in the comments, and that's where I learned about it. So I gotta give respect to them. This one's gonna be Gamora and Peter Quill. So this is gonna be Peter Quill versus Gamora's memory, S tier. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I love Peter's reaction to Thanos when he ruins the plan. Like, you could tell that boy loved her, right? Like, he really did love that woman. I think that's beautiful. I think that's a very human response. A lot of people are gonna be like, what are you talking about? No, I mean, bro, like, that would make the average dude crash out. Like, Peter Quill became a crash out in that moment. And I think that's valid. I respect it. And I feel like in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, when he finds out that Peter Quill, or when Peter Quill finds out that Gamora does not remember him at all, bro was just defeated. Like, bro cannot process it. And that's valid. I would say that's very valid, bro. Let's be honest. If Gamora did not remember you, bro, you would be doing the same thing. What's it called? Gamora had him acted up, bro. He could have breathed, he could have eat. I remember that scene where he awkwardly talks about it over the comms and everybody can hear it. That made me physically uncomfortable, bro. I love how they got that feeling of uncomfortableness for me. Bro, I'm not there. But I felt how they were feeling. Amazing scene. Like, that whole movie, he was basically feeding for her. And she was like, what is this guy talking about, right? I feel like that was very well done. And I just love Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Let me talk about this for a little bit. Because they close out the stories of all the characters very well. And I feel like we're not seeing, like, we just had Joker 2, which was an abomination. So, I mean, obviously, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 wasn't that great. It was like Cars 2, where they kind of diverged into what is this even about? Then they just went back to the storyline for the third. But I think they rounded out the trilogy very well. And I think that's great. I really liked it. And so it's really Peter Quill's rivalry versus Gamora's memory. Her forgetting him, and even after she died, because you gotta understand, this man dealt with her death, and then she came back, she doesn't remember him. Do you know how traumatizing that would be? I don't think y'all understand. I saw his feelings are very much justified. I think that's very well portrayed as well too. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable for everybody around that. It's uncomfortable for her too. But from Peter's perspective, it's understandable. So that's basically like the tier list that I have right here. So everything I really want to talk about. You guys let me know what you think of this tier list. Because, you know, I know this was supposed to be like a rivalry tier list, but I guess it's kind of turned into like more of a character tier list because it's mainly like MCU. I could do another one just talking about like characters in general that I like. And we could go into more detail, including like we can do like comic versions because I feel like it's very different, you know. And that's a much longer video. Like, I feel like you can make a video 20 minutes long, just about each character on this list. Because there's so much to it, man. I didn't want this to get too long. Yeah, so just to recap, we have in S tier, we have Thanos rivalry, we have Black Panther and Killmonger rivalry, we have Spider-Man and his rivalry. He's got multiple rivalries, so they're all pretty good. And Peter Quill is Gamora's memory. I like that one, y'all. Don't hate on me. So we have Ultron versus Vishon. We have Ultron versus Tony. I feel like there's even a little bit of Ultron versus himself because he's AI. I feel like he probably has some plotline like that. And then we have the X-Men. So this is really gonna be Professor X versus Magneto. Amazing. That could honestly be an S tier one. I'm putting an S tier. And then we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Yeah, I mean that's valid. Yeah, I think this is Shang-Chi versus the Mandarin. Oh my bad. Versus Iron Fist, pretty good. Blade versus Dracula, valid. Moon Knight versus Bushman, valid. Cyclops, valid. Iron Man, valid. Hulk, valid. Thor, valid. Daredevil, valid. Black Widow, in B tier. B for Black Widow. And then at D tier, oh we put nothing in C tier, huh? Yeah, I mean, maybe B tier was too big, but I don't really care. I think it's okay. And then we have D tier, which is Fantastic Four. I would say that's pretty good. That's just my personal opinion. You guys don't have to agree. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Let me know what other things you guys would like me to see. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you thought about this. I know this is probably a really polarizing topic, but hey, if there's anything I missed, please let me know as well too. I'm always open to learn, make modifications, think about what I'm doing. So thank you guys all. I appreciate all of you. All right, have a good one.